So let's go ahead and recap, because I want to go ahead and make it very explicitly clear that we've done our 3 steps. Was that painless? I think so, huh? She's like, this is working, this is good. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and recap. Okay. The very first step, what was that again? Searching and verifying for your property data, right? So always make sure you start with your zip form transactions for those who are working on a property inside of Indiana. The second thing is confirming your contacts. So with your zip form transaction, all of that information will pull over. So you just want to double check and make sure it's good. And the very last one was checklist. So we talked about this very unique property-specific email address that you can leverage, right, in so many different ways. Shoot emails into the system. Anytime those emails have attachments, it would be stored in your document area, and you can split it and simultaneously assign it out. Okay, we're pretty much done. However, I'm going to keep you here with me just for a few more minutes, because I love this audience. I have a question, and you have to be honest. True confession, I want your hands raised really, really high. Who loves sticky notes? I know there's a few of you. You're very proud of it. I love it. Thank you. Okay. I know we've never met, but I hope you're not going to be mad when I tell you no more sticky notes. There was a great story that Tracy was telling me during lunch the other day, how she had a really high file, and the agent sent her a message on the sticky note. She responded with the message on the sticky note. The agent replied on another sticky note. I mean, this thing went back and forth forever, right? No more sticky notes. Okay, what you're going to do is in this comments field team, if at any time you wanted to correspond either with your secretary or your managers, you can go ahead and make the virtual little sticky note comment here. So you can say, for example, missing 6. I can't talk and type at the same time, obviously, on the last page. For example, I could just let them know right off the bat, sure. I'm missing signatures on the last page, I'll get that in a little bit. When your managers come to the file, they see that, and they can type back, sure, not a problem, right? So that's how you are going to correspond with each other inside of Skyslope. Little virtual sticky notes. So for all of those who love your sticky notes, you can save it for something else. Cool? Good deal? All right. If I go to documents, I just quickly wanted to show you that in the documents, right, that original listing package that had the 18 pages, still there, intact, in case you wanted to go ahead and pull out additional documents, or if you split it up wrong, it's all there. Nothing ever gets deleted from the system. And at any time, if you have any checklist items that were assigned, or any documents that were assigned to checklist items, you see that little virtual paper clip, so you know it's been assigned to checklist item. Okay. Skyslope, I think one of the reasons why Monica and team had chosen Skyslope, because when it comes to compliance, we're pretty great at it, especially when you look at the compliance log. So team, think of the log as your digital footprint for the entire file. The first time we created together, contacts added to the system, documents uploaded, any comments made, when the documents were approved, rejected, any emails. All of that is really captured here, and it's a really great way to kind of come back, because I know everyone's going to have like 50 files in the system, right? It's a way to come back and kind of keep track of where we are at in the stage of that property file. All right. Any questions so far? This is a quiet group. Yes, my dear.
When you email in a document from, say, your computer or something, it just goes into the property, but how does it get labeled and attached to, like, if it's a specific, say, a home inspection response?
So in essence, you would have to attach it yourself. So when we were in the documents area, and I took that PDF and I split it, remember I started typing in listing, and it automatically popped up the different, yes?
When you email it in, so like you're in your email, you have something you want to throw in there, how do you label it a specific type of document?
What do you mean a specific type of
Like in
document?
my Evernote, I can put the at sign at listing contracts or at something. So when it goes into that file, does it just go in, like do you put it in the subject line or?
So whatever the attachment name is, so in this particular instance, it was called already the listing packet. So that's my attachment. So when I sent that email with that attachment in the system, it keeps the same name. However, if you would like to rename it, you can as well, right within the system. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, so you can't use the subject line to rename the.
No, the subject line is just in essence the subject line of the email. It's not going to change the name of the attachment on that in the email.
I understand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay.
Ellen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Emily, so are you saying, so we still use zip forms, right? And then any forms we fill out and the buyers or sellers sign should be on zip forms,
Yes.
and then it flows to Skyslope. And Skyslope pulls from zip forms, you said?
Absolutely, and I'm going to review that at the end. So did everyone hear that question? Okay. The question was, so if I'm still using Emily, so if I'm still using zip form, do I go ahead and fill out all the forms through zip forms and then somehow it's going to get into that property? Yes, I'm going to show you that at the very end. We have a single sign-on into zip form. So what that means is once you put in your credentials, so when you log in tonight, team, once you get your email, you log in, there's going to be a pop-up that asks you to put in your zip form credentials. You set it once, and then you can access everything that you would traditionally in zip form without ever having to log into zip form. So that's the beauty of it. There was another question over here, yes? Yeah, fantastic question. So we have someone from Illinois that just kind of snuck into our session. I'm just kidding. So for those who are in Illinois, at the towards the end, I'm going to show you there's an area that Monica is going to go ahead and upload. It's called the Office Docs area. She's going to upload all of the Illinois forms that you would need, and that's how you would access it.
Are they only the Macaulay forms that we need, or are Illinois Emerald forms?
So the question, Monica, is are they only Macaulay forms, or are they also
The Emerald forms that we use contracts and such. They'll be the Emerald forms too.
the Emerald forms as well? Perfect. Thank you. Yes? Yes?
So what if you have a client that can't do the digital signature?
Mhm.
How do you get the forms? They have to manually sign them.
So the question was, what if I have a client that doesn't or can't do the digital signature? So really great setup because I'm going to go through DigiSign next. So DigiSign, there's differences between DigiSign and DocuSign, but if your client prefers to do wet signatures, absolutely with any of these documents, let's say for example, I need you to sign the listing contract, you can tap on it, it opens it up in a browser window, you can still print it out if you need it, okay? But I'm going to show you just how easy it is to utilize DigiSign, because unlike DocuSign, how many of you are using DocuSign right now? Okay, so with DocuSign, you've gone through that experience of you send it to your client for the first time, if they're accessing that document through DocuSign, they can't even sign it without creating an account, correct? They have to create the account, they log in, they access the documents, they sign it, okay? Let's think about that flow. So if you keep DocuSign right now, and you go through that flow, once you get the signed contract, how are you going to get into Skyslope? Well, absolutely, you can still send it to that unique email address for that property, get it in. Maybe another creative solution is you can say that that property address, let's say we're working on Woods Bay also, it's going to be a recipient of the signed documents. You can definitely do that in DocuSign. But no matter which route you go, or if they're signing the wet signatures, you're going to take those pieces of paper, go into the office, scan it through your Konica machine into this property address, and it'll appear here. But no matter what, those are extra steps, right? What I'm going to show you with DigiSign, it's our integrated e-signature tool. It comes with the platform. So that means the $250 you're spending right now on DocuSign, it only costs you $20 to send me flowers in Sacramento, because I'm going to show you how DigiSign actually works. I know JR is like, oh, I like that savings. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. So let's say, for example, in our scenario, listing contract, it's missing signatures, right? So you can select as many documents as you want to send it out via DigiSign. For the purposes of our demo, I'm only going to choose one. Okay, I'm going to select that document. We are inside this property file. I'm going to send it out via DigiSign. When I choose to send it out via DigiSign, the very first step is, it's going to show me a listing of all the documents again on that property file, so I can change my mind and send out multiple ones if I wanted to. I'm just going to simply click on Next. In every single property that you create, you are the agent, or even if your secretary is creating the file for you, you're the listing agent. All the context, the buyers, the seller, title, so on and so forth, all those individuals will be listed here. So now you get to select the recipients. So if I said I needed to sign because I want to show you what the agent's experience is, and let's say, for example, Oprah needs to sign, I can also make those selections. Pretty straightforward so far, right, team? Okay. We also have the signing order, because I know depending on the document, there are times when you as the agent, you need to sign, your clients need to sign, and then the very last person that needs to sign is your manager, correct? So you'll send it to them last. Everyone that signs will automatically get a signed copy of the final document. If you needed to add in, again, those different signing groups, so again, passing it over to your manager, you can always add them as a recipient, put in their name, email address, and then add a different signing group. Okay. Very last step for DigiSign. When you come in here, these are all of the different fields you can add into the document. So for those in the back, if it's a little fuzzy, they're standard fields: signatures, initials, system-generated date and time stamp, a writable field, so on and so forth. Okay? So all I simply do is I scroll to any page that I want to insert those fields. Let's say, for example, I'm going to go to page 7. It'll automatically scroll for me, and it's just as easy as tapping on the screen. So let's say, for example, if I want my initials here as the agent, I can go ahead and move it anywhere I want. Make sure it is me. If it's required, fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and tap on the screen again. That's it, team. That's all you have to do is simply tap on it. Select that it's Oprah that's going to initialize there. And just go on my happy path of inserting these different fields. Okay? I'm going to move it over, swap it over to the signature field. And tap again. But it's not going to be Oprah. I am the agent in this instance. Tap again. And they're just tapping. That's all you simply need to do. That's it. So you can insert those fields anywhere you'd want. I just wanted to show you what the multiple pages would look like. Any questions so far? Pretty straightforward? Okay. Let's go ahead and send it out. So if I do send it out, I have an opportunity to personalize it with a message. Gonna send it out for signatures. Woohoo! That was easy. Okay, make sure you remember that, because when I'm not here and you're sending out a DigiSign document and it's executed perfectly, you can hear my voice. Just kidding. So the system, if you had to interact with that document, yes?
Does the DigiSign assign the date and time also?
It's a field that you would have control over, so you can specify it. We also have right here, it might be a little fuzzy, it says date sign or date and time stamp.
Right.
So if I inserted that, it will automatically apply it. And they don't have to click on it at all. It's instantaneous.
Okay.
Yep, great question.
Emily?
Yes? Really great question. You're going to see that in 2 seconds. Yeah. Because usually when I go through this process, everyone wants to know, if I just show the client side, well, what about the agents? If I just show the agent side, they always ask, what about the client, right? So I'm going to show you both sides and show you just how easy it is and how very similar it is. It's a great question. So if I choose to sign now, you want to double check to make sure everything's spelled correctly. select a signature style, click an I agree. And then of course, you're gonna diligently read through everything you sign and initial, right? Yes. And then once you're ready to rock and roll, simply click on the start. Look, it's like a magic show, okay? It automatically scrolls. I know, I always say nothing up my sleeves, right? Tap, it automatically scrolls. Tap, and I'm done. I mean, really, really easy, right? Just tap, tap. You can do this on your phone as well. Okay, so the real question is, what do they see? Do they get email? Do they download? So on and so forth. But I also wanted to show you the sent one. You can always come in here and see, who it's waiting for signatures from, right? So if you had, let's say, multiple sellers, multiple buyers, so on and so forth, and they're in certain orders, you can see where the holdup is, reach out to them, let them know that you're still waiting for them, okay? If we go into, did that just work like magic? Like, how did she do that? But here it is, here's the seller. If they are on their phone, this is just a big blue button that they click on. No software to purchase, no accounts to create, nothing to download at all. They just click on it. Look at this. Does it look familiar, team? It's exactly what we went through as the agents, right? So I know that if you're working with clients that are a little bit more nervous about technology, if you can overcome just tapping some buttons, you can sit down right next to them on their phone and they can just tap through and complete out this document. Okay.
Emily, you mentioned that there's no account set up, whereas DocuSign, the client is required to set up
Absolutely,
an account.
yes. So remember earlier we mentioned with DocuSign, right? If I'm your client and it's the first time you're sending it to me, I have to go through the process of creating an account, logging in, accessing it, then signing it. What we're seeing together, real life, like a true Vegas show. Oh, that's not California though, right? I didn't think about it. But like a true magic show, all you simply have to do is send it out, they click on it, make sure their names are spelled correctly, select a style, click on I agree, it's a binding contract. Once they click on start, they're gonna read through everything, right? Click on start, I know, you can giggle, they all read through it. Every single page and paragraph. Initials, same thing that I went through, Oprah is gonna go through. Tap and sign, submit, okay? She will automatically get a copy. But once everyone has signed, let me show you what the emails look like. Once that client has signed, they're gonna get an email that says they signed. Once everyone has signed, all recipients of that document will receive an email that says all signed. Very straightforward. But again, the true magic of DigiSign compared to DocuSign, again, not only the savings, right, JR? I'll give you my address here. But if I were to type in that property address, without having to do anything, because you're seeing me demo this live, right there, the system will automatically file it away for you. So it says listing contract dash DigiSign, so it has the DigiSign tag on it, letting you know, letting your managers know that was sent via DigiSign and received via DigiSign. So again, just kind of think about that. I'm not rushing you to, break up your relationship with DocuSign. All we're simply saying is this tool is here, it's available for you, it's integrated, and again, the whole purpose is to make you more efficient, spend more quality time with your clients, less time dealing with paper and paper cuts, because those hurt, right? And being just a lot more vacation time, hopefully. Okay. So that's DigiSign. Any questions before we go on? Yes? Yes, absolutely. So let me go ahead and show you that. So if I clicked on it, she said if I pull it up, so there's a verified, the actual envelope for it, like you would have with DocuSign as well. But if I scroll to the pages, there are the initials. Can you see that? The initials on those two little lines, and our signatures on the two little lines as well. It's just that fast. Absolutely. Great question. Thank you. All right, team.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Assuming we can also use this to send out to
can send it to anybody you want. Absolutely. Okay, so I clicked on that little icon, right? It takes me right back home to the agent dashboard. Once you have created your listing, they're all going to be under managed listings. So if I click on that, I want to go ahead and explore something we talked about earlier. If you are the agent representing both sides, right? You have a listing, now you are representing the buyer as well. You do not need to go in and create a separate transaction. All you have to do is say, accept contract. Is that a lot easier than creating a brand new file from scratch? Kind of think so, right? Just click on accept contract. It converts it into a transaction, and then it's the same 3 steps. Make sure the address, you verify it. All your contact information is there, right? And the checklist, there are going to be different documents that you would have to upload because you're working with the purchase of a property. On the flip side too, we know that sometimes sellers might change their mind. So if you wanted to withdraw that listing, you can also do that. Just kind of keep in mind that the withdrawal of a listing is going to require some documentation, like the cancellation or the termination of the contract. Just make sure you upload those because it's going to sit in this bucket and your managers will look at it, make sure everything's in its proper place, and approve it out for you. Okay. And just like what I mentioned with the transaction, it's the exact same 3 steps, so I'm not going to go through that process again, but I'm just going to go ahead and highlight some other areas that are important. So first and foremost, just like a listing, if you had to withdraw the listing for a transaction, sometimes the buyers change their mind, you can also cancel that out. Again, it will also be pending your manager's approval. But if I were to open up one up team, okay, I'm going to scroll down. Checklist type is going to be very important because now you're talking about the purchase of a property, so there would be different requirements, different documentation requirements. So that will allow you to specify, or it's going to pull up the proper checklist so you know which documents to submit. Okay. We also have additional pieces of data that they're going to ask for because obviously when you're working with a property that's going to go into escrow, the closing date, the acceptance date is going to be important as well. Contacts. So because you are working with a buyer, you would also have to include buyer information, title information, agent representing the other side. So just a quick comment on title. We are going to be working with Monica. I know you do have your own title company. So that's going to be master uploaded into the system. So if you were in the title area, okay, instead of typing in all the information, you can simply come to that search area, type in their name, and it will automatically populate all of the information for them. So Monica and I will work on that together for you. Sweet, right? Thank you. Again, all about saving you time. And of course, the last one I wanted to review is just that checklist. So as I'm going through the different tabs for transactions, you're probably thinking, I just saw it in listing. You are correct. We try to make it very consistent, very easy to recognize across the platform so that in essence you learn the 3 basic steps, right? Put in the address information, put in your contact information, upload your documents, and you are good. You're good to go on the listing side, you're good to go on the transaction side of the house. Okay. This next area that I want to quickly mention, fun stuff. Is Sandy in the house? She's not here?
No.
So Sandy will be the one for all of my colleagues that will both close and archive your files.
Sandy's colleague, so.
So again, just make sure that for anything that's required, right, it has to be uploaded in the system. Your managers have to approve it before she closes and archives the file. Because my whole job here today is to show you those 3 steps on how to get paid, right? So you want to make sure you get those documents in the system. Access archives. So as required by Indiana law, you need to keep those files for 7 years. So as you're closing out and escrow and closing up those property files and Sandy's archiving them, they'll always remain here for you if you needed to access it for any reason. Okay. Going back home, And the very last thing, team, I wanted to talk about was the working documents area, personal docs. Because it comes up over and over again as I visit different brokerages. There are times, or every single time, everyone asks me, well, what if I don't have a purchase agreement yet, but I have other documents that my seller has signed? What do I do with it because I don't have that address yet? Personal documents is just for you. So quickly mention, I know it's something that we as in Monica and I think it's known, but I just want to make sure everybody's absolutely clear. Your login credentials are unique and specific to you. Do not share it out. Do not share it out with your clients. When you log in, any file that you are the representing agent, you will have access to that. Your managers will automatically have access to your files. No one will see that information, okay? Personal documents is just for you. Unlimited storage, I highly recommend anything that is real estate related, right? Go ahead and create it here or put it here. So what I have in this example is I created a folder for Oprah because she's looking to purchase other properties. So I have a disclosure uploaded, I have an agency agreement uploaded. Next week, once I get that purchase agreement, right, and I create that inside of Skyslope, this is all I have to do. I can just select those documents, and I don't know if you saw, just like magic, as soon as I make those selections, DigiSign appears so I can leverage that tool. But now if I wanted to, I can just simply assign it out to that property. So I can choose whichever property is either transaction in this scenario, or even if it's a listing, I can simply assign it out and boom, just like that, it magically goes into that bucket. So it makes it a lot easier for you. Okay. The second bucket I wanted to go ahead and talk about, let me just go ahead and go backwards here, is office docs. So especially for those who are also licensed or you are in Illinois, right? All of your documents from my colleague will appear here so you can leverage it. And I believe, Monica, you're going to make them fillable, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to be available here for you to leverage. Oops, there we go. And last but not least, just a couple of comments on zip form. So remember, I mentioned at the very beginning, even before I created my listing, you will always start with your zip form transaction, okay? Once you get your login credentials tonight, you click on it, you generate your password. It's gonna pop up for you, a little pop-up box that asks you to put in your zip form credentials. You set it once, you forget about it. It's super easy to come in here and say, I wanna create a zip form transaction. So let's say, for example, if I had Robbins Road, okay? Let's say if I had a transaction. For my own purposes, I like to name it something I can easily identify. Create. Wasn't that super easy? And then your zip form library will appear with the forms that you need. So you can go ahead and select whichever one you want. Add it. So this is going to answer your question in the back, like with zip form, how do I get the forms in? And this is really, really great here. So there's my transaction cover sheet. If I wanted to work on it, I simply click on it. Again, hello. There we go. I simply click on it. It's going to pull it up right here within Skyslope. No need to open up another browser or do anything. It's going to pull it up right here. I can make all the changes I want, type in anything I want, okay? And then make sure I click to save those changes. That's it. There we go. Now when I'm ready to associate these zip form documents, over to property, you see how right now DigiSign is grayed out and Assign is grayed out? I can simply select it. Just like what we did in personal documents, right? It's a holding place for you. Assign it out and simply, just like that, assign it out to that specific property. That's it. That's how easy it is to work with our integrated zip form platform. Okay. Yes? Yes?
Okay, just so I understand, so we're gonna access zip form from Skyslope.
Yes.
We're not gonna log in a zip form anymore.
You don't need to.
okay? And to originate a property as an Illinois agent, all the files, we won't access zip form through Skyslope, LLP and Skyslope, the form.
In Office Docs, in the Office Docs tab within Skyslope, yes.
So you go to working documents, and then you have your zip forms plus tab. Is that, I couldn't hear the entire question from you.
You said we need to originate every transaction with zip forms, but if we're an Illinois agent, we
Oh,
don't
if
have
you're
to
in
do
Illinois, you would actually go to Office Docs. Monica is going to make all those Illinois forms available there for you. And when you have forms here, it's just like personal documents. You can select it and assign it out to that property, open it up and fill in all the different fields.
So let me kind of explain the whole zip form thing. Why is it?
Monica, do you want to take it here?
So I often get asked, why does Indiana have zip forms and why not Illinois? Indiana Board gave zip forms to Indiana agents for free. MRED did not give that option. However, about a year ago, NAR said that they were going to roll out zip forms nationwide for free to everyone. Unfortunately, it's taking more than a year for that to happen. So the goal is obviously everyone will have zip forms eventually, but at this time, this is how we're dealing with that. Okay?
All right. Yes, my dear.
Well, Monica has the microphone. I think this is probably a question for her.
Don't leave me.
But community title is going to also have access to this same fund. And we're going to get our title work through them. We'll get our closing statement through them.
I don't think Kathy Schultz is here today, is she? No. So I know through Zip Forms, Stuart Title is actually a partner of Zip Forms. I haven't figured out with Kathy yet how we're going to get the title work to work with Skyslope, so that's within the next 2 months we're going to get that sorted out.
Okay.
That is obviously the ultimate goal, to do that.
All right, thank you.
Perfect. So one of the things I wanted to reiterate was the fact that Monica just said a key time frame, the next 2 months, right? While we work out the little kinks and whatnot. Once you get your login credentials, feel free, absolutely team, to go into the system and play around with it. The only thing that we do request is to make sure that when you're creating a dummy property file in the system, you created something called 123 test account or 123 fake account, so that Matt and team doesn't get overly excited thinking all these wonderful deals are closing and they're fake, okay? So you just want to make sure you do that, but of course, though too, the system is live, so if you do truly have a legitimate property file you want to put in the system, absolutely. And remember, we do have a phenomenal support team, 24/7, 365 days. There's no reason why you cannot be successful just learning those 3 simple steps that we talked about today. And again, Monica's going to send out all the amazing resources we have available for you. The support team, all the live webinars, the recording of those webinars. So you can't go wrong with us. So we're super excited to have you part of the Skyslope family. And that's pretty much it for me. So thank you so much for your time and attention. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Emily. I just want to remind everyone that every single week to infinity, there will be webinars twice a week for agents and twice a week for managers. So that's always going to be ongoing. So I was asked that, well, is there going to be a webinar? I couldn't make the live training. Yes, every single week until infinity, like I said, there will be webinars and things like that. So can you show them real quick where they can access that?
So again, team, what you would do is click on that support icon. Once you click on it, if you want to go ahead and save it, bookmark it, you can. You don't have to be logged into Skyslope in order to access it. It's simply support.skyslope.com. If you come into this bottom link here that says Getting Started, you can simply come in here, and there is an ability for you to go ahead and register for one of the free daily webinars, or we also have the admin and agent training videos that you can watch at your own leisure. Okay? Yes?
What do you do with a transaction where you have two offers on the property and negotiate, and maybe you don't go through, or you get to this fall and you have new offers? How is that handled with all those different buyers?
So the question is, in case everyone didn't hear, and I want to make sure I'm interpreting it correctly, The question was, what do I do when I have a file that has multiple offers on it, and we read, yeah, you led me astray, JR. Multiple offers on it, and you're negotiating back and forth, you're declining those offers, so on and so forth. Is that correct?
Yes, so you have a list of different buyers on one particular list.
Right, absolutely. So really great question. I believe from my understanding in looking at the different checklists, that there's going to be a placeholder. It's going to be a checklist line that talks about that will clearly articulate that those are, in essence, going to be considered rejected offers for that property. And you would just go ahead and add those documents to that line item, assign it to that line item, so your managers can see all of that information. Did I answer that correctly, JR? Thank you. Thank you. Yes?
Okay, so I was hoping to be able to use this more as a transaction management, system. So I'm trying to figure it out in my head here. When you guys have the template that you pull up for, like, say, the purchase documents, the transaction documents, okay, and you know how most of them are required, it's got all the requirements. Can you add fields in there, like a survey or like a well and septic addendum, and make those like required for a specific transaction without actually adding a document to it yet?
Okay, so really great question. The question is, she would like to use this more as a transaction management system, which it actually is. And the question was, if I'm working with a specific property, is there an opportunity for me to add in additional line items to represent other documents? So as of right now, we just want to make sure that as we work together, all 24 offices, right, trying to streamline, we know that every single office has something slightly different. Please be patient with Monica, myself, and with Tracy as we kind of tweak it a bit. If you feel that a specific checklist is not capturing all the information you'd want, let them know, because they can always edit those checklists. Right now, agents cannot make any edits, managers can, but we just want to make sure that we have consistency across the board. We don't want everyone to go in there and just add in a ton of things. So they're going to really review that in the next 2 months, but really have something finalized sooner rather than later, so everyone has a fully working operating system before you head into the new year. Okay? Did that answer your question? Thank you. Yes, yes. And then I'll be right with you. Yes.
Generated for a transaction in Skyslope, and let's just say nothing's signed yet, but you need to add a middle initial. Where can you do that from? Can you do that from where that it will generate on all those documents in the Skyslope?
So I want to make sure that I'm interpreting correctly. The question is, let's say you create the property inside of Skyslope, you have the documents, and now you realize you need to add in a middle initial. How's that accomplished? Okay. So it's going to depend. If you already have the documents, you actually, and you are using zip form, are you in Indiana? Okay. You can actually go into, I believe, your cover sheet. If you make the change there, it cascades across your different documents. So that would work. So you'd want to make sure you select those documents and assign it back out to the property, send it for digital signatures, and take care of it that way.
Okay, so go back to zip form, change it, and then resend them to Skyslope?
Absolutely. Now, I want to be completely transparent. That's only going to change for your zip form documents. Your property file inside of Skyslope will not automatically embrace those changes. If you'd wanted to go ahead and add in the middle initial, there's no field for it, so you just go to the first name field, add in the middle initial if it's critical for compliance purposes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Yes?
Yeah, so let's go back to that question. You add a middle initial on Skyslope in one signature box, Emily, is it gonna fill it all in like it does on zip forms? If I change a name in your program, is it going to automatically fill in each place that name is on the contract?
So really great question, just in case everyone didn't hear it. The question was, if I were to add in the middle initial inside of Skyslope, does that automatically cascade into zip form in those forms?
No, does it cascade to all the documents in Skyslope?
into all the documents into Skyslope. It does not.
Okay, so we'll have to do it individually for that record, for compliance. All right.
If those documents are documents that are from zip form, if you change it on the cover sheet, it would change it across all the documents.
On zip form, it does.
On zip form,
Or
it
even
does.
if you change something in a document on zip form, it goes through each one.
Absolutely. So in zip form, it does. In Skyslope, it does
So
not.
we need to concentrate more on zip form, set it up, that email address that you're gonna designate that property, do you provide that? Or do we make up that address that you referred to? That
Yeah,
was-
really quick question. So the question is, one, do I always start with zip form? Absolutely. Two, when I'm creating the property inside of Skyslope, what's happening with that property address? You do not generate that. That is system generated for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
All right, that was it.
Sharon is shaking her head to everything. I think she's going to take over my training session soon. Yes, Valerie.
What happens when you are emailed an offer from somebody else? How do you get that into us?
Absolutely great question. Valerie had asked what happens when you get an email offers from somebody else. How do you get that into Skyslope? You can simply just take that email address with that offer attachment and shoot it into the unique property address. So in our example, I had the listing packet that was Oprah's offer, and I just shot it into the property address and it appeared right there. Instant association. Perfect. Anything else, team? So you have me just for today before I fly back to Sacramento, California. Yes, we have a question all the way in front.
I actually have a couple of
I'm gonna run in my little heels. No one saw that, right? You would have called 911 for me? Okay, what is your question? Yep. So really great question. The question was, the Android app is read-only. At this time, it is read-only. However, with any phone that you have, any mobile device, nothing prevents you from being able to go into the browser, because I go into my browser all the time, and still utilizing Skyslope. So at this time, I don't know, and I'm not aware of any current plans on the roadmap to enhance the Android app. However, what's really great about Skyslope is, and very unique to a software company, is the fact that we have enhancements every 2 weeks. So JR, if you want to submit a feature request and we roll it out, we might not call it the JR feature like a great sandwich, right? But we'll think of you and appreciate that feature. So everything that you see that's amazing inside of Skyslope is really based on great feature suggestions from agents and managers alike. So thank you so much for that. You had another question, I remember. Really great question. Now you're testing my knowledge of the platform. So the question is, for DocuSign and Transaction Room, she's able to invite other people into the room so they can see specific documents. Does Skyslope allow you to do that? So first and foremost, one of the things that we cannot emphasize enough is your unique credentials for Skyslope is your unique credentials. Do not give that to your clients. What you can do is within any property right now, let me go ahead and just open one up. If you would like to share with someone the different documents, I'm going to need 2 hands for this. Okay? So let's say, for example, it's going to be this property here. I'm going to go to my Documents tab. I feel like I should go on like The Voice or something and sing to you. Okay. So let's say, for example, if you wanted to say agency agreement, seller advisory, listing agreement, for example. Select the documents you want. We have a feature that's called Shared Docs. It's actually a shared bundle. So what you can do is click on Shared Docs, give it a name. I'm going to call it, Monica's, she's always my Nana White for every single session. Monica's package, for example. And I'm going to click on create. And I'm going to copy this link. So what you can do is you can create that bundle, share the link out, and when someone receives the link, what they are going to see is, it's going to show them the property address, who is presented by, my colleague real estate, your email address, phone number, and as soon as they click on any of the links, they can access it. The true benefit is actually behind the scenes. So why did that accomplish what you were wanting to do? I'm going to give you a little bonus. So happy birthday. I feel like your birthday is coming up in the next 364 days or something. Okay. So when I come in here and I close out this link, so anytime you create one of those, we call it shared bundles, you can always come in here and deactivate it. So if you said, hey, potential buyer, you have 24 hours to view these documents, and then you want to deactivate that link, you can. But the best part about it is, everything that you do inside of Skyslope is captured here. So when you created that bundle, it shows that. When someone accesses the bundle, they're going to ask them, she's like, oh, I'm loving this already. They have to put in their email address, their phone number, and it tracks. Kind of cool, kind of creepy, but hey, it's kind of cool. It's all to your benefit. It tracks and it shows you which documents they viewed. How amazing is that, right? So if someone came back and said, oh, I never received it, I never viewed it, you can come here and he's like, oh, I got you, right? Absolutely. You can see all that information here. You know what's a really cool feature about that is I had a brokerage who used this really creatively. Because what they do is when they put something on the MLS, they're always posting pictures. And sometimes there's a home warranty or some disclosures. If they put that link, that shared bundle link on the MLS, and other agents are clicking through it, now they come back almost like a lead generation tool and say, hey, you are looking at this property. What do you think of the pictures? It shows that they're interested in it, so you can always reach out and start that conversation. Kind of cool little tip and trick, right? Absolutely. Any other questions? I know that we're spending some time together, so I'm really appreciative of that, but I also want to make sure that we get you out here in a decent time frame. Any other questions?
Thank you, Emily. Last thing I just want to mention, this question came up often the past 2-3 days as well. So as of January 1st, you no longer have to courier those big, thick closing folders anymore, right? Awesome. What about the earnest money? Okay, so I know in a perfect world, we'd be able to scan it and deposit it, but we're not there yet because of the fact we've got 24 office locations. It would be fantastic if there was a Centura bag at every single location from Watsika, Illinois to LaPorte, but we're not there yet. So for that reason, we are going to still have to courier those earnest money checks. And we'll make a special earnest money envelope for that. In worst case scenario, in some of our outermost offices, if we're in a pinch, we could have those FedExed in to the corporate office. The same thing, we'll have to do the same. Yes. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
They were talking about like if you have to make a change in the name and everything's already signed. I believe you said that there's a cover sheet I know in the forms, and if we make that change, it'll cascade down to the other documents. Or is the county going to create a cover sheet like that for all the transactions so you can just say?
You know what? There's a really cool transaction summary sheet that Emily, would you mind showing me real quick?
Oh, yes. All right, I am back on stage. That was fast. Okay. For any transaction that you have inside of the system team, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Different from the listings, we have what's really cool. It's called a transaction summary sheet. So think of these different tabs here. In the transaction tab is all of the property information, right? The sell price, the property address, so on and so forth. Contacts, you have the buyer, seller, title information, agent representing the other side, commissions, because JR is getting 7% of everything, so he wants that thoroughly documented. When you click on this transaction summary sheet, it's going to give you in a PDF format a summary of all of that information all in one document, so you can use that as your cover sheet if needed. Okay?
Does that answer that?
Well, I guess I was thinking, maybe I misunderstood or just didn't hear it.
I actually understood your question differently. I think your question was, if you're not using zip form, which is really great because you want to make one change in the cover sheet, it cascades across. Your question is there something for the Macaulay sheets where you can make one change and it cascades across the Macaulay forms?
Illinois agent, something comparable, so if you just change it on one form and it cascades across all the others like it does if you are a zip form.
I don't know. You might have to research that a little bit, Monica.
Is that some programming that's involved with that?
That's something that they can create.
Yeah.
We'll have that same
Just like people just don't have it.
Right. So the answer is it's probably going to take a little programming. So Monica can definitely explore that to see if for the Illinois agents, if that's a possibility of changing something on the cover sheet or the transaction sheet and having it cascade across the different documents. Wonderful, thank you. Okay, are you ready to call it a day? All right, thank you so much, team. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.